that you spend more of your time at work than you spend at home with the people you love.
Work culture is toxic because for some reason there is no opening of eyes to see that your employees have a very different way of life.
I don't care about how much you want to pay me. If I don't feel like this place becomes a home, that I will leave.
Diversity is in our faces. You can't avoid it. There's people changing their genders, fam. I really think people give the best work where they feel like they actually belong.
We are not all the same. We are not meant to be the same. Don't suppress who you are within it.
People in management are middle-aged white men. They're so ignorant to the fact that different people need to be catered to.
That thing I'm about to say. If you've been in a place for 40-something years, you shouldn't be there anymore.
I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I'm snapping at my brothers, I'm snapping at my mum and dad. Something has to change.
Whatever will mess with my happiness or whatever will mess with me as an individual in a place, I will leave.
What I'm hearing you say is, wherever I work has to be in line with my values.
I'm telling you.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
How you doing?
How you doing?
What's good?
What's good?
I'm Sam.
I'm Sam. Wait, I should have said I'm Sam. No.
Why would you say I'm Sam?
Because I was copying you the whole time. But it makes sense.
I'm Sam.
I'm Sam.
And this is World of Our Own.
That's right, brother.
Welcome to the podcast, guys. This is episode
4.
Episode 4. We made it to episode 4. Obviously, this is like all pre-recorded for you guys. So like, by the time you guys are seeing this, we'll probably be like on episode
8.
10, 11, 12. God
13,
knows.
God knows.
But eventually we're gonna bring you guys up to speed. And you'll kind of be keeping up with us. You'll actually be in line. Like, say if Sev is getting married, you guys will know, like, at the time he's getting married. Like, say if I'm getting married, you'll know at the time I'm getting married. Or, like...
That's like keeping up with Kardashian.
No, legit. Like, it's really giving podcast reality TV show. That's kind of the direction we may be taking this, you know?
Something like that exists already.
Really?
Like...
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think there's any podcast reality TV shows. Ooh. I think people would be into that as well.
Have you ever seen someone this handsome like
No,
this?
just you, Sev.
My goodness.
Well, me, then you. You know?
Wait.
Me, then you.
No.
It's always me, then yeah.
No, I don't agree with that one. Look at this. Fine, Baba. If they see me on the road, I want to call me Jenny. To God be the glory. But I get.
Should I put translations below? If the person said if they see him on the street, they'll eat him. I don't think I translated that properly. Yeah, that's basically what you said.
No, Sam, I didn't say that. If they see me on the road, they will eat me.
Yeah, that's what you said. If they see me on the street,
what did I say in Yoruba? Samuel, forget it.
Call me Jer, something like that. Call me Jer.
And it's Yoruba.
I am, but I'm still learning.
It's Nigeria.
I'm not still learning. I can understand Yoruba. Well, clearly not. No, but that's what he said. They'll eat me. But as in, like, you know when it's like saying, if I'm out in the street, they'll eat me up, like, because I'm delicious.
Yeah, you got it right, though.
Exactly.
That's true. You were right.
Not like eat me up physically, obviously. It's like a figure of speech. Yeah.
I just thought of figure of speech.
It's like when someone says, I ate that, it means, I killed it. Don't actually eat anything.
That is true. Sam, you're good at Yoruba.
I'm a Nigerian. Are you just pulling my leg?
No.
Don't want your
bad
smarts.
degree, listen. That's true.
Do you know what I don't like? I've realised that I don't really like... I probably shouldn't say this, actually. I don't really like middle-aged white men.
Middle-aged?
Yeah. Like white men in their, like, 40s.
Oh, no, I don't like them. No, not in a bad way, but I don't like them in the sense that they feel like they know it all.
Yeah. I just think middle-aged white men think things are supposed to go their way, and when it doesn't go their way, they get mad, they get angry, and they don't like how it goes. And I just don't like the way they work as well, because they just work a bit... They're just too rigid for me, and they're not too flexible. I would say that's the only thing that really annoys me about my current workplace, to be honest. I just wish it was slightly more flexible, if that makes sense.
Maybe because they've been in a place for too long, they've done a job for too long, your ideas means nothing. They feel like they've already know everything about that field.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
whatever your input is,
Yeah.
it means nothing. So you have to do what they tell you to do,
Yeah.
even if you're in a higher position than them. So like they have this concept of, oh, you don't know anything. Especially if they see that you're not a young guy, they feel like, oh, they know more than you.
Yeah.
Even if you're trying, because I've been in a position where I'm like, okay, guys, how about we do it this way? They'll be like, this is how we've been doing it. This is how it should be. And I'm thinking, yes, I agree. This is how you should. This might be your idea, but we are in 2023, my guy. Like, you chip in an idea,
Switch
I chip
it
in an
up.
idea. Let's try something different.
Yeah.
And then because of the fact that they've been in the UB here, I've been in this field for 40 something years. If you have been bad thing I'm about to say, if you've been in a place for 40 something years, you shouldn't be there anymore. Forgive me. Like I'm telling you, like
that's one thing about us these days. I feel like our generation can't be in one place for long. Like anyone who says they've been here for like 30 years, I always look at them like, okay, cool, that's loyal, but like, oof.
Come on.
It just feels like, even if you're getting promoted, it just feels like stagnancy. I don't know why, but I feel like, and to be honest, a lot of people in our generation say it, like, everyone I speak to say they can't be in somewhere for like more, like 5 years tops. But like the generation before us, are like baby boomers, they stay in their positions for like 10 years plus. And this is the thing, like as I grow older, I really want to make sure I evolve, if that makes sense. And even as different generations, because obviously, eventually, we're not going to get phased out per se. I think the only people who get phased out are people who don't know how to evolve and don't know how to adapt, if that makes sense. As new generations come, there'll be new knowledge, not only new knowledge, but there'll be new ways of living, and there'll be new ways that people do things. And I think even if you still want to stay consistent with how you live and how you see things, you can't block yourself from how the world is evolving. If you block yourself from how the world is evolving, you're unable to interact with people who are living in that way. People who come, we're talking about like our nieces and our nephews, they're going to grow up very differently from us. They're going to see life very differently from us. Our kids are going to see life so differently from us. If we're unable to actually learn the way that they are experiencing life and accept the fact that they are experiencing it different, it's a normal human thing. That's something we should even know and learn now, that people experience life differently from us. The same way the generation that comes after us is going to experience life differently from us. And because we know that, it's important for us to learn the way that they experience life, so we're able to adapt and work with them, if that makes sense. It's not even just in the workplace, it's in family as well. Because in family, you need to be able to cooperate with different ages, with different people. And even though you're all part of the same family, you've all kind of still experienced life differently. I would say maybe you and your wife, okay, cool. Or you and your partner, okay, cool. But your kids are going to experience life differently to you. You have to understand their way of living to be able to raise them properly, to be able to work with them properly. And I think that's what some of the older generation have failed to do. I think some of the older generation have failed to realize the fact that these people were not born at the same time as you. There are some people who are old enough now, who lived at a time where war and conflict was still a very big thing. That was a very different way of living. Technology was nowhere near what it is now. The internet was nowhere near what it is now. But the fact is, the internet does exist. And because the internet does exist in the way that it does now, there is a certain way the generation that has access to it is going to live compared to how our parents lived, for example.
Correct.
Compared to how these middle-aged people lived. And I think even as we grow and as we evolve, it's so important to just keep our eyes open to realize that there isn't just one way to live life. Like even now, like it really pisses me off when some Christians sometimes say, oh, I don't know how they can live life like this. They weren't born into the church. Two, they haven't heard the same things as you've heard. Everyone is going to have a different experience of life.
A different approach as well.
If you stand in a place of judgment, you are able if you stand in a place of judgment, you are unable to stand in a place of empathy. And the only way you can make connections with people is if you empathize. The only way you can make connections with people is if you stand in a place to say, I want to understand your lived experience. I want to understand how you have lived. I want to understand how you experience the world. And which is why work culture specifically really annoys me these days. Like, work culture is toxic because for some reason, there is no opening of eyes to see that your employees have a very different way of life. And you don't have to necessarily cater things to different people, but understand that, like, just because one thing works for like a certain group of people doesn't means it works for a minority of people, especially in work culture, because people in management are middle-aged white men. They're so ignorant to the fact that there is actually a large number of the population who lived and experienced life differently to them. Different people need to be catered to in business, in religion, in any institution where we are building community. And do you know what? I think that's what work culture is missing. They talk about culture, we want to bring everyone together, this and that. But the thing is, leaders fail to recognize that this is a community I'm building. For me to build a successful business, I need to be able to build a community. For you to be able to build a community, you need to, it's like in church.
Why didn't I not bring a book right there? Because
it's like in church, like,
that's a strategy.
There's different families, there's different like cultures. We have Zambian people, we have Nigerian people, we have Jamaican people, and they're all coming from different walks of life, right? If we are unable, whether it's in religion, whether it's in work culture, if we are unable in these places where we're building communities, if we're unable to recognize the facts and also not only recognize, respect, and empathize with the facts that people are coming from different walks of life, we are unable to make a space that they can belong in and where they can feel comfortable in. I really think people give the best work where they feel like they actually belong. This world is colored by religion, gender, sexuality, different walks of life. If you are dull and you're ignorant, and I think you choose to be ignorant because it's in our faces these days. It's in our faces. Like, diversity is in our faces. You can't avoid it.
Yeah.
People, we are preached to every single day that, fam, there's people changing their genders, fam. It's something we have to not accept. I'm not saying accept. I'm saying it's something we have to recognize and accept that it is happening. I'm not saying accept it for yourself. No one has to accept it for themselves. But accept that it is happening and acknowledge that it is happening. Because people are not open enough to make a space for different perspective and conflicting perspectives and conflicting life experiences, they are unable to change.
Yeah.
That's my rant over. I'm done.
Being around people that create that avenue for you to grow will make you feel belong. If people bring themselves down to your level for you, bringing yourself down to somebody's level is not you suppressing yourself. It's for you to actually be able, because to be able to pick them up away from where they are, it's not that you're actually climbing the ladder down. It's like you're stretching your hand down to bring them up.
Exactly.
Because you're already there.
Yeah, it's a hand down.
You are already there. You're stretching your hand down. That's why they say bring yourself to my level. It's not you actually taking a step down to stretch your hand. I'll stretch your hand. And pull me up.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that people don't understand. Like, doing that, you're creating another, I can say that, another you, but with them involving themselves in it. Which is good because you're passing down the mantle. You're passing it down. And that is the thing that some companies fail to understand, is that they don't want the next generation to grow. And that can only be because they themselves, they didn't put themselves in a position to understand who that person is. All this thing also applies to even in a home. All children are not the same. That's why I always thank the parent a lot. Because all children are not the same. You have to understand every single one of them for you to be able to treat them according to who they are. Because you can't treat A the way you treat B.
Nope.
As much as, people want treat everybody the same. No, it's not possible because everybody have different behavior,
Yeah.
different things that touches them. Because some people, you can discipline them while just talking to them. And meanwhile, some people, it doesn't work that way. You can't.
You got to give them a kick.
Exactly. The way you walk with some certain people is different from, and that's the interesting part is, everybody within a home have different behavior, and that different behavior is based on what you've come across before. And that is why even sometimes
That's what you've experienced outside the house.
Exactly. And that's why I don't run away from people's behavior. I feel like people's behavior is to train me of what is either what I will meet as my own or what will come in my way. Everybody behavior that you see across around you is to train you for what you come across. So like running away from it or deviating or not trying to understand it you might actually face it one-on-one, whereby you can't run away from it, or you cannot say, okay, I didn't see this. I didn't see it coming. Everything is just to prepare you for something else.
That's true.
And that is why, for me, even in a household, in a workplace, try to understand everybody. I don't really care about how much you want to pay me. I don't care about anything. If I don't feel like this place becomes a home, that I will leave. I literally said it boldly that I will leave. Do you know that you spend more of your time at work than you spend at home with the people you love?
Yeah.
So wherever you are at, I don't care where that place is, it has to be a home.
Yeah.
Wherever I go, has to be a home. And that is the thing I do. First of all, wherever I go,
That's
I
good.
first pray for this place
That's
to
good
be a
criteria.
home. Before it has to be a home because
Why-
I'm spending my life there.
Why is that? I was just about to ask you, why is that one of your criteria?
Yeah, because
it was spending your life there.
Exactly, my life, my
spending your life there.
moments is being there.
Right. And actually, what I'm realizing is family is one of your values, right? Family is
Exactly.
one of your, top 3 values. Like, if it's
Absolutely.
not number 1.
Absolutely.
It's one of your top 3 values. And I think that's why home is a specific criteria for work for you.
I'm telling you.
If I don't feel at home, I'm not here. So I think what I'm hearing you say is, wherever I work has to be in line with my values.
I'm telling you, it has to. Your value is you.
Yeah.
So wherever you go, you carry your value because you're the entity of that. And that is the thing people don't understand. They go to a place frustrated because they don't go with their value.
Yeah. If
They
you're
don't go
in
with
a
their
space
standard.
that doesn't feed your value systems, you will be frustrated.
You will
because
be frustrated.
It's not resonating with you. It's not speaking to who you are. It's not. I want to call it life force. I'm going to call it life force. Whatever. It's just not having an impact on your life force.
Exactly.
The energies are different.
For me, wherever I go, that's why to leave a job for me is like this. I really don't care. Whatever will mess with my happiness or whatever will mess with me as an individual in a place, I will leave.
Yeah.
I will leave because it's not because I can find a job or another place. It's because if it's not given, why be there?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, because what I was going to ask you is, why is it that some people don't leave? And I was going to say, I think there's the obvious ones like fear, like guilt, I don't know. But
Where would I start from?
Where would I start from exactly? But I think one of the biggest reasons, especially even maybe people in our generation and even older as well, is they don't understand their values. They don't understand who they are. And I think that's where the question comes back to. I think someone who aggressively knows who they are and they are confident in who they are and they are aware of their value systems, they are aware of what makes them happy, they are aware of what brings them joy, they are aware of what makes them sad, they are aware of what affects their mood. It's that introspection, it's that ability to be able to self-observe and know thyself. When you have the ability to know thyself, you are able to know what environments that you will not thrive in. And when you find yourself in environments where you do not thrive in, fam, it doesn't, when you have self-love and you have self-respect, it doesn't take a day for you to say, I'm out. I cannot stay in this place anymore. Because it is, 1, it is draining my life force. 2, it is not allowing me to show up in life the way I want to show up in life. Because what happens is, as you said, we spend most of our time at work, which is why a lot of people leave the 9 to 5 and they go and start businesses. I'm not I used to be the kind of guy who used to trash 9 to 5, but for some people that's what works because they love what they're doing there. Do you understand what I mean? It's feeding their value systems and they've found a home in that place.
Yes.
When you find a home somewhere, whether it's your own business, whether it's a 9 to 5, whether you're influencing, whatever you're doing, whatever you find yourself doing in this life, when you find a home in that place and it feeds your value systems and it brings you joy and it brings you to a place of peace and contentment. The fact that you are spending most of your hours in that space, because we're always working. Whether we're working for ourselves or we're working for someone else, we are working. And that's, as you said, that's where we're spending most of our time. If you are in that space and it's not feeding who you are, and you find yourself frustrated, most likely you'll be frustrated in every other part of your life.
Absolutely.
It will show up in your relationships. It will show up in your relationships. It will show up in your whether you have a mentor or a mentee, it will show up in that. It will even show up in your work. And that's why I said earlier, people cannot give their best work if they're frustrated.
Yep.
They can't give the best. So I think that first step is really understanding your value system, knowing who you are. After knowing who you are, loving and accepting who you are. I think when you accept and you love who you are and you find yourself in a space that doesn't allow you to thrive, it won't take you long for you to leave.
Absolutely.
And that's why I remember when a lot of people ask me, why aren't you working in pharmacy now? Why aren't you working in pharmacy now? And a lot of the time, I found myself frustrated. The culture was just very it was very blamey. It's like if you haven't done something, it was very shame driven. It was very blamey, and it lacked a lot of creativity. And who I am at my core is I am a creative person.
Yep.
I do love critical thinking, but at my core, I'm a creative person. It wasn't until I did the work because I found myself frustrated. I studied pharmacy for 4 years. Why am I not enjoying this? But I'm coming home. I'm tired. I'm frustrated. I'm snapping at my brothers. I'm snapping at my mum and dad. Something has to change.
Yep.
And I think some people just think, they just boil it down to, I'm just an angry person. No, you're not an angry person. You are unhappy and you are discontent with where you are spending most of the hours of your life. Let's stop calling it work. Let's call it, this is the place I spend most of the hours of my life.
Yep.
In the sense of, if you are spending most of the hours of your life discontent, frustrated, and unhappy, you're going to spend the rest 3 hours of your day discontent, unhappy, and frustrated. Realize that if you do not know your value system and you find yourself in spaces, I'm talking about workspaces that make you frustrated, you will not evolve. I think people see work as just, it's just work. It's just work. Like, this is something everyone does. It's just work. And I do blame education and I blame university for that sometimes. Because sometimes those spaces can be a bubble, right? It doesn't make you see the reality of life. Yeah. And low-key, the reality of life is, work is low-key your life. I mean, it's not your life, but you spend most of your hours working. So if you do not find a space that really resonates with, if you don't find a space that really resonates with who you are, fam, you've got a message for the people then. What should they do?
Subscribe.
And share, baby.
Comment.
That's right, baby.
Hit the subscribe
That's right, baby.
Hit the comment. Subscribe.
No, the comments are the most important things. We want to hear your voices. I mean, actually, the sharing is the most important thing. Share.
Oh, yeah.
Share. Definitely share. Hit that like button. Give us 5 stars on every platform, every podcast platform. But I really think we should let these guys get into the episode.
Oh, yes.
Before we start talking way too much.
I do agree on that one.
Enjoy the episode, guys. I want to go back to something you were saying earlier about, you were just talking about how you were able to kind of create like a space for yourself. You don't allow people at work to necessarily define you and what you will do. No. I think something I'm really learning lately is that, because sometimes you may find yourself, you may think that, okay, this is an environment that I should be in. This is what my value system aligns with. This is the environment I feel like I will thrive in. However, because of the people in that environment, it may not necessarily come across in that way, because of people may be treating you is it unjustly or unjustly? I think it's unjustly. Unjustly. People may treat you unjustly. Oh, fudge sakes. People may not treat you fair.
Yeah.
English.
That one.
Yeah.
The bigger one, you don't need it.
People may not treat you fairly. People may be horrible to you, or like you just may not feel like, oh, I like this work environment in the sense of I like the work I'm doing, but the people are just dead. Like the people are just crap. I feel like
Define the place.
facts. I feel like you really need to. I think first of all look inwards and think, what do I want to see in this workplace? How do I want things to change, and what kind of space would I want for myself? And then start to show that. I think naturally people will start to gravitate towards you. And that's what you do when you find your own lane and you operate in that lane, I think.
Yeah.
I think people will generally be drawn to your light, especially when we have work environments these days that exist that are just one way, and they know life only one way. I think when you find your own lane and you show these people a different way of life, which is who you are, the way you've grown up, your value systems, the way you see things. The only way you'll know where you belong is if you show up with your skills. Okay, you applied to this job, you applied to the company as this, and this is the skills we required of you, but bring all of your skills, bring everything you have. You never know when someone can say, oh my God, like, look at what he's doing. This isn't what we hired him for. But actually, we want you to do what you do, what you specialize at, and we'll give you a unique role for that. The only way those kind of situations happen is if you show up at workplaces where you feel like you do like the work, and you show up with the whole of you, and you show up with an offering that is you. There's this thing called Masterclass that I love. I'm going to renew it for another year. And basically, they get a bunch of celebrities to come up and teach lessons about different things. I forgot the lady I'm listening to now, but she was basically the editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue. I forgot her name at some point, not currently, but she was editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue at some point. And she was basically saying that her mentor taught her to operate in her zone of genius. And what your zone of genius is the intersection between your values, your skills, your talent, and I forgot the last one, but skills, values, talent, and something else. I can't remember the other one, but it's the intersection between all of those things, and it's where you uniquely operate and work best.
The thing is, if you go to a place as you are, people will see it and want to know, okay, what makes this one different?
Yeah, that's true.
That question, that thought within their mind will make them want to know, okay, this guy must have more. That is why you go there with you, not going there to impress. Because if you go there to impress, you're going there to just let them see you for what they want you to see. They want to see you.
Yeah.
But you don't go to a place presenting yourself the way they want to see you. Present yourself, you're beyond it anyway. Why limiting yourself to how they want to see you when you're beyond what they're seeing? The main thing is, like, you can change an environment to how you want it to be. Because for me, I know the way I did it was I prayed. I was when I step into that workplace.
Yeah, you pray.
I step in from the door. I start praying until when I sit down.
Right, and it was backed up by intention.
Yeah.
So like you prayed, but then you actually did things as well. Like you actually, this is a place you want to be. You've made an effort to kind of be like, let me also understand the people who are here.
And that is the thing. And I pray for every single one of them, knowing that if this is going to be where I want to be, all of you have to yield to my presence, in the sense of my presence has to be felt different.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
I go there being a carrier of something. As an individual, just command the place, determine the place. And the determine can be through your actions, through, making yourself you. Don't go to a workplace making yourself a script.
Fact, because let's be honest, there is a work script. Naturally, as you show up as who you are with your skills, your value, and that's what it's value. Stop bringing just your hours and your labor. Bring your value, because your value is who you are. Success is gonna come when you bring your value, and your value isn't just the skills and the talents you can bring and the work you can do for them. Your value is you. It's everything about you. It's what you have. It's your life experience. It's everything that has added up to your experience up to that point. Bring all of that.
People try to give what other people want to see from them
Yeah.
or how they want to be seen by people, but they abandon or lose who they could have potentially
Yeah.
be within the group.
Yeah.
Find yourself. Be you within a group. Not everybody's going to love you for you within a group, but at the same time, be you within a group.
Yeah.
They will adjust to understanding you within the group.
Yeah.
People have to come to your to the understanding of this is who this person is.
Yeah.
Yes, you can learn to become the better version of you
Of
within a
yourself.
group,
Definitely.
but don't suppress who you are within a group. Let it out so that whatever correction you need will be given
That's good.
for you to change.
Exactly.
But your changement is not for you to lose yourself,
Yeah.
but for you to develop
To
yourself.
evolve yourself.
And because rather than you losing yourself, develop yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is one of the things that I realized about people. They go to an environment being somebody.
Yeah.
But don't try to be somebody else when you are you.
I really, 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 really like that.
I love this though. I love life because we are not all the same.
Yeah.
We are not meant to be the same.
And
that is why we are not the same.
We shouldn't be unless the world's not
shouldn't
involved.
be.
We all have
We
different parts to
shouldn't be.
play in the body. I love. And whenever I speak with Alex, we speak about this all the time. Love what you said about if you do not show up as your full self, you will never be able to receive correction, or you will never be able to receive redirection. I think when you show up as your full and authentic self, when you show up as who you are,
Yep.
that's when you're able to learn the most.
Yep,
Because
yep.
people react to you more authentically.
Yeah.
If you are showing up as someone who you are not, you are showing up as what you think people want you to show up as, or what people are demanding of you. We're running out of battery, which means we've definitely been recording for over an hour and 30 minutes. Can you see it? I can't see the time. But anyway, when you show up
As your authentic self.
when you show up as what you think people want you to show up as, or you're trying to fit the definition of someone else or what the world has defined for you, the world is unable to react to you authentically. When you get inauthentic reactions from people, you're not able to do a proper self-check on yourself. The only time you're able to do a proper self-check on yourself for you to evolve and for you to grow and for you to develop is when you get authentic reactions from other people. The only time you're going to get authentic, real reactions from, and when I say authentic and real, yes, it may be authentic and real, but the reason why it's not authentic as real is because you've not given them something authentic and real to react to. So it started from a lie, you're going to get a lie. It might look like the truth, but it's not the truth because you never presented the truth. The truth is who you are. It's who you are in that moment. It's who your character is, the bad, the flaws, the good, everything. When you present that, people are able to react and give you the energy that they would normally at what your normal character is. And then that's when you're able to go back and see, okay, this isn't working. Let me do it this other way. Not to conform, but to evolve who I already am, if that makes sense. That's why it's so important, as he was saying, to really, really, really show up, because that's when you're actually able to grow. If you do not show up as yourself, you cannot grow. If anything, you decline, because...
Yep.
And that's why it's a service. It's a responsibility. I know it sounds, I think it's become such a trendy and cute thing. It's not cute. Being yourself isn't about being cute and trying to be trendy and trying to be fun. And we're trying to use all this colorful language and we're trying to be popular. No, being authentically you is a responsibility. It's a responsibility because it is your service to the world. The world needs it. If you do not if the toe does not operate as the toe, the body will not operate as it's supposed to operate. If the eyes does not operate as the eyes and it's trying to be the ears, the body will not be effective. You need to play your part in society and you define that part for yourself. You find it through introspection. You find it through self-observing. When you find that part, when you find your values, when you find who you are, you serve the world the way that the world is supposed to be served. However, if you do not, the world will give you back what you're not supposed to be receiving. Growth that's not meant for you. Things that are not meant for you to be walking by. So stand
they'll give you a bouquet when you are something.
When you stand in you, when you stand and you learn about who you are and what you can offer to the world is a better place. Today we talked about work. Wow.
Oh yeah. Every time.
Who knew that was who knew that that's the direction the conversation was going to go? We did no facts. There was a point in the episode where I was like, I don't think we have anything to talk about.
No, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. being able to talk about something you don't plan for.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode.
Absolutely.
I think it's been a fruitful conversation, like even for myself, and I hope it's been like really useful for you guys as well. And give us feedback. Let us know how you're finding these episodes. It's going to be a bit messy at first, but it's okay. Like there's beauty in our mess, and it's who we are, and there's growth. And we hope this is I know people say they're tired of podcasts, but if
this is not just another podcast.
This isn't just
This is a family.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
This is,
it's true.
An open space.
Exactly.
We're basically inviting you into our space.
Exactly. We are
into our planet.
Into
our world.
Yep.
Like it says, word of.
You're gonna make me forget what I want to say.
Okay, say it.
All of that. And if you want to do something, it doesn't matter how many times people have done it. It doesn't matter if you think people don't want to hear it. Like there's so many podcasts or there's so many films. Fam, do you know how many years people have been making films, but yet there are still films today that still bang? Do you know how many years that people have been making music, but yet there is still music today that is still reigning, that is still popping? Do what your heart is telling you to do and go for it. Do not give in to the fear that it's been done so many times before. You are different and you have something of value to give to that space. Do not be held back by the fear of, oh, everyone is doing this, but no one is doing it like you. And that's the facts, which means go and do it. And that's why we're doing this podcast. No one is doing it like us. We are who we are, and this is how we want to express ourselves. And we're going to be unapologetic about it. If it's not the type of space that you want to be in, you can leave. But there are people who want to be in this space. There are people who need our voices, and there are people who need you. So do what you need to do.
You just sound attacking. I love this. Jeez, being in front of that
was nice.
Even before we start this, I'll just mess about and just play around, even jump around and do whatever I want to do. I just love the mic. I've always been somebody that I just want to handle the mic. And so I think my life is even based on the mic. So the beauty of this for me is the space. The space. I just love, having this kind of conversation with my brother and having this kind of conversation with my brother, knowing that other brothers are listening to it. It will strengthen their own relationship as
That's
well,
true.
and make them understand that I need to have this kind of dialogue and important thing with them. It's not about women this, nyash this, all this kind of conversation people are feeding themselves. It's about what productive thing can we give each other.
Yeah, that's true.
And that is the thing about us. I mean, like, we've learned, we've grown together to the point whereby now it just feels like, this is
and still learning.
We're still learning.
Okay, guys, our phones are belling. People are ringing us for some reason.
Because they're important.
Something is happening. But we're going to go. We're going to end it. We talk too much anyway. We should have ended this an hour ago. But that's it. See you later.
Do so.
Thank you for tuning in for episode 4. Make sure you come back for episode 5. Don't forget to share.
Episode 5.
Don't forget to
episode
like.
5.
Don't forget to
episode 5.
Subscribe and also give us 5 stars on Spotify.
Sam, you didn't let me say.
Yeah, because you just I don't know what you're doing.
Okay, do it again.
Don't forget to like. Don't forget to
subscribe.
Don't forget to share. Don't forget to
click this. What was I meant to say?
Rate us 5 stars on Spotify.
I didn't meant to rate 5 stars.
Yes.
Okay, rate 5 star
on Spotify. Especially if you found loads of value from this episode. We love you.
Yeah.
Invite people to join our space.
So let's deuce now.
This is World of Our Own. Deuces. Bye.
Deuces.
Bye. Okay, see ya.
Sam, the phone is belling.
Okay, cool. Call my mother back. I don't know why my mother is calling me.